Hello, folks. Well, this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel, right? So the reason of let's talk about North American sports leagues, and the reason why sports in North America, especially in the USA, it is it is a bit tough to say that the NFL will be the number one sports league in the USA. Forever on, in whatever takes place, football or American football will still be dominance in the United States of America. But for one reason, it will be slipping to number two. And you're just talking about whatever is said, where is gonna be, what kind of sports is gonna be. Besides all of this, besides that all you baseball fans are watching, or say, why are you making videos, why baseball is dying? Why you, yes, this is the first sport I'm talking about before I move up to the NFL and to the next league, who is going to be number one. I'm going to talk about baseball. As to say about hockey, the NHL will be going to fifth place. We're going to talk about number four, and that is baseball. Sorry to say that, but yeah, the MLB will slip in the fourth position, and let me tell you why baseball is slowing down, or you say why baseball is dying. Okay, so for the matter of fact, this is going to be the worst years for the MLB. It has nothing to do of improving the game, but it's going to clash down with Mideast politics to just bring back the steroid era. Yeah, great era. But there's going to be a lockout in one way or another that the fans need to be in favor of somebody that gets away with murder. That means the law on the Lord's side. That means somebody that is getting away with murder should be praised. If they boo somebody that gets away with murder at a baseball game, it's classified as anti-Semitism, right? So this is how we go, right? So this is why I want to say an AI to see what if one player from the previous steroid era, and I imagine nobody's up to there to make that happening. The truth is going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah, you have Utani, a Japanese baseball player, playing for the Dodgers. But this has nothing to do with certain baseball players who are Jewish, and they'll be the renaissance of the steroid era. But at the same time, the lockout and booing somebody that gets away with murder would be classified as anti-Semitism, and that's how it's going to work, right? So that is going to even go close, because it's going to go in the political side of things. It's going to go more of the political side of things, all right, to where the game will improve. All right, you want more things, whatever. Yeah, what is going to call in one way that is going to call the Jewish juice era. The Jewish juice era, that means all of them using steroids are Jewish and play for Israel. Somebody that criticized, oh, I'm going to, you know the deal. The person kills the player. Yeah, I bet Canseco was going to the Palestine side, and he gets killed, and the person that killed him gets away with murder, and they'll be law on the Lord's side, right? It's going to be called like that. Getting away with murder is being in favor of God, to be in favor of God's people. In that point, well, then what's going to happen is that people won't go to baseball games. They can't boo on the individual that killed whoever is in favor of this, or with the Mideast politics, that killed a person who is and gets away with murder would be classified as anti-Semitism, and they're gonna get kicked out of the baseball game and whatnot, right? It's gonna happen through that phase, right? Well, soccer matches, put it that way. This is going to be right there in close by. That is going to be a year of whatever it is, of rules and regulations, that you have to be in favor of the individual that killed the baseball player that gets away with murder and whatnot, right? Then the audience will not show up at baseball games. That's the first thing. The audience will not show up at baseball games, because you need to be in favor of the individual that gets away with murder to be called a hero, and that individual that gets away with murder will be is going to be like that. Have the Presidential Medal of Freedom, as it is for, somebody that talk against the steroid use and who become a whistleblower, maybe who might be a baseball player in favor of Israel, that gets away with murder. All right, so it's going to be like that. Then people don't show up, right? That's how it's going to be. They're gonna not show up in baseball games because they can't boo on the person that killed the whistleblower, that got away with murder. If they boo on the person that gets away with murder, it's classified as anti-Semitism, right? That's how it's going on, right? So it's gonna be like that. It's gonna go on and on and on until the 2026 WBC, that maybe instead of hailing in Dubai, is gonna be held right there, including the final in New York City, to avoid Team Israel the same fate as the Russian Olympic team, getting eliminated from the WBC for life as the Russian Olympic team forever, because of steroid use, right? Because of steroid use. All in favor of all this. All in favor of somebody that killed a baseball player who got away with murder. And that's gonna be to say, all right, the Team Israel baseball team would be equivalent to the Brazil soccer team, aka football team, during the World Cup glory days, that won, that you can't be beat. But the only magic they use is steroids, and honoring somebody that killed probably Jose Canseco in favor of Palestine and got away with murder, and that's it. That's gonna be, or like the Chicago Bulls of the 1990s when Michael Jordan played. That's how it's going to be Team Israel, right? And first of all, as it is, people ain't gonna show up at games. I don't know how it's gonna be. And this is gonna be all over North America. That could also include Canada. Well, it's gonna be like just 1 year of this, or 2 years of this, until everything goes back to normal. All right, until everything goes back to normal. Yeah, and probably it might go back to normal one way or the other. Maybe China's gonna get nuked by Israel. That's how it's gonna get normal. But anyway, whichever way you have to slice it is gonna be normal for the MLB season. But it's not going to get, not even the Renaissance or returning the steroid era could match up and going very low audience, because 2024, if it's not gonna happen, right, it's gonna be one thing with Copa America being held in the United States, that they're gonna be, for example, okay, you see the New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox at Yankee Stadium, and what is, I'm in Colombia. Let me tell you what, or Colombia versus Ecuador at MetLife Stadium. They're gonna be more people at MetLife Stadium and less people or no people at the Red Sox game at Yankee Stadium. That's how it's going to be. 2024. This year is going to be one of the worst years for the MLB. Right? Right after this, 2026 is another year. The worst year for the MLB is 2026 for all you baseball enthusiasts or whatever it is. 2026 could lead into what is going on. The FIFA World Cup held in the US and Canada. The Blue Jays playing. Who's going to show up at the Blue Jays game? Nobody. Who's going to show up at a FIFA World Cup soccer match or international football? A bunch of people. Stadium's going to be jam-packed, right? That's how it's going to be. Then the same thing, situations. Who's going to go to a Dodgers game in 2026 if a World Cup is held? Say LA Dodgers against the San Francisco Giants. Nobody. Who's gonna be at a stadium? Probably where the LA Galaxy play or whatever it is. When there's a FIFA World Cup soccer match. Everybody. Yeah, that's how it is. Or MetLife Stadium, Yankee Stadium. MetLife versus Yankee Stadium. There's going to be more people at MetLife than in Yankee Stadium. All right, so here we go. For example, to say, okay, England versus Japan, put it that way. England versus Japan soccer match versus the New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium, the only attendance will be 1 or 2 or 0 attendance. England versus Japan, it'll be the whole MetLife Stadium full of people, probably 60 or 70,000 people showing up at MetLife Stadium. MetLife being jam-packed. That's how it goes, right? Now, I'll tell you why baseball is dying. The only solution, let me tell you, all you baseball fans, you were curiosity. If you were the president of the United States of America, then yes, if you were the president, all you baseball enthusiasts, if you are the president of the United States of America, the only solution to save baseball is to make soccer illegal in the United States of America. Illegalize soccer to save baseball. That's your solution, baseball fans. You want to save baseball? Be a president of the USA and illegalize soccer. But what if you could illegalize soccer? the MLS will move to Canada. And in Canada, it would be having it will have a chance, because this is also what it could include. It will have a chance. Or the Marlins will be back or whatever. It will have a chance. Let's say if you have a Canadian team, it will have a chance for a baseball team in Nashville, Tennessee, right? An MLB franchise in Nashville, Tennessee, thanks to an MLS moving other teams to Canada because of your decision. If you were the American president, that you decide to illegalize soccer in the USA to save baseball, right? And then that would be kind of, this is where the MLB will slip in the number 4th spot, just to say all of this, you baseball fans and whatever it is, enjoy the game. But one thing for sure that you have to do, if you still want to enjoy a baseball game, go ahead, enjoy your baseball game. But let me tell you what, it's time to jump. For some of you fans, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. You have to go to your first soccer match. Your first, what is called here, football here. I'm in Colombia right now. It's called football in this country. International football. Soccer game, all right? So there's a chance you go there. If you like it, okay. If not, go to an NBA game. Go to an NFL game or whatever, man. Right? And then if you decided to jump on the bandwagon, well, you might either go for number 3, from number 4 to number 3, or from number 4 to number 2, or wherever you gonna lead, just to say, okay, or you just go to right there on the number 1 spot, the future number 1 league, North American team, number 1 sports league in North America, and you'll be set for life. And you said, you automatically become a soccer fan, but you're still gonna like your baseball. All right, that's it. That's it. You jump on the bandwagon. You jump on the bandwagon from one sport to another sport. But if you still like baseball, keep liking your baseball. Doesn't matter. Enjoy the soccer game or the football game that was called internationally, and just see that why the reason America's pastime, for some reason, is no longer the number 1 sport in the USA, or it's not the main pastime, slip into the 4th place, and that's it, Probably be freaking tuned. Okay, I'm gonna watch the WWE wrestling. It's okay. Enjoy wrestling or whatever, That's it. Everybody have their fair share of audiences, but if you are saying that because the solution is you want to save baseball, you just jump and run for president of the USA and make soccer illegal in the USA if you thinking of saving baseball, because I think the MLB will fold down in history as just putting an example for all this. And I think that example is that that's saying that the MLB has to do the same like the NFL. The NFL did have American football to be played in London, England, and in they did it before. They played in Canada, they played in Japan, they played in Mexico. But yes, each market is kind of different. It's gonna be all the aspects to do is that okay, did they like American football? It didn't catch on. It didn't catch on in a international football, soccer crazed country, or in a baseball crazed country, or whatever. It's not the same. Why? Because the NFL is just in the United States of America, the largest North American market, right? So that's it. That in the other case, the MLB, if you say that, I will just going away there is, like, say, 2 MLS teams, one from New York, one from Boston, all right? NYCFC versus Boston United or whatever, or put it that way, right? So, and then you have a Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox, held in New York City at Yankee Stadium. The difference is gonna be like this: you go there, you go to the baseball game. You see that it's only you and your friend or your girlfriend at the ballpark, or just a few people in the ballpark, or it's just you and your friend or your girlfriend at the ballpark. Nobody shows up at the baseball game. At the MLS game, everybody showed up. It's more important that they show up at an MLS game, at the, soccer game in New York City, a Boston team and a New York soccer team, than at a Yankee Stadium where there's a lower attendance don't get butthurt, in Yankee Stadium at a baseball game. The soccer game is jam-packed. The baseball game is just you and your friend or your girlfriend to be the only audience, or these other people, and that's it. That's it. All right, so that's just how it's going to be pretty soon. It's going to be sooner than later, right? Because that you're going to see why baseball is falling down and is being less popular. But then if you're playing a regular season game in Japan, right? Japan is a baseball crazed country, right? So the audience, they're gonna play in the Tokyo Dome. They're gonna play in Japan. New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox in Tokyo, Japan. MLB was doing it. Okay, let's hold this game in Japan. Well, the game held in Tokyo, Japan, are going to be jam-packed. They're going to be more people at the New York Yankees versus the Red Sox game held in Tokyo, Japan, compared to the one held in Yankee Stadium. There's going to be less than a few people attending. There's like 3 or 2 people. Well, there's a soccer game, MLS soccer game held. It's going to be like that, right? So it's going to be more people at a New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox game held in Tokyo, Japan, compared to a New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox teams being held in the United States. Either it could be at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. There's going to be more. There's going to be less in the United States, but more held outside the U.S. if the game is held in Tokyo, Japan, and not in Boston, Massachusetts, or New York City. Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. That's how it's going to be, right? Then we were talking about all this, that to say all this, the only market that say hockey, the NHL, only marketing would be, more games would be showed up, fans going in Canada, most likely in Canada, the Canadian hockey teams, right? So this is how it is, and there's gonna be So many things that I could say is that I could reach to number 3, the NBA. Well, basketball's another spectacular sport. You love the sport of basketball? Okay, you're safe with me. You're gonna be NBA fans. Basketball, NBA is in the 3rd place, right? NBA is in 3rd place is because, this is not like it is back in the 90s when the NBA was holding when Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls. Imagine Instagram in the 1990s or in the 1980s, all right? Then it's going to be that the Chicago Bulls will have the same followers as to Inter Miami today. Michael Jordan be translated to Lionel Messi today, right? So what is going on right there is this. This is that the NBA is still going to be strong. It ain't gonna top the NFL, but it's behind the NFL, but it's gonna go to the 3rd spot. And for that reason is because I can remember this thing, all right? This is kind of crazy because I'm just comparing apple with oranges and back to baseball. When the Marlins held a baseball game when 2 teams from Spain, 2 soccer teams from Spain, international football from Spain, held here in, I'm in Colombia, held in Florida, Miami, Florida. More people show up at the Clásico held in Miami, Florida against Real Madrid and Barcelona than at a Marlins game. The Marlins game, empty. Nobody show up at the Marlins game. Even if the team sucks, nobody show up at the Marlins game. Even if the Marlins kick ass, nobody show up. That's how soccer or international football has been grown in the United States of America and in Canada. That's going to be like out surpassing hockey's going to the number 2 spot in Canada. Put it that way. And then after all this thing, the same thing, empty baseball park, nobody show up. A few people at the Miami Heat game. This is going to be the tables have turned. When Lionel Messi played for Inter Miami, it's just this man from Argentina who says, hey you idiot, and whatever it is, right? So what happened with him is that he played for Inter Miami. It gave a chance for Quebec, Canada, Montreal to have a chance to get their expos back. All right, because this man, Lionel Messi, just to say about this is how it's going to be. It had a chance to have the people in Montreal who lost the Montreal Expos baseball team to bring it back. And what would happen in a few years when Lionel Messi will win the MLS Cup and whatever it is, another title in his belt. We might even have for the people in Montreal, baseball fans, who says your Montreal Expos started as the Florida Marlins, man, or started as the Miami Marlins. And you might get your team back one day, right? Thanks to Lionel Messi. Messi's helping Montreal bringing a baseball team back. That's how it gets right there, right? So that's how it is that way. And it is that way that the NBA will have its fans and all this stuff. And then this is going to be like that. And then one thing then it's going to be like that. It's happening. It's gonna be like that. I mean, 2026 will be the worst year for the MLB. That means World Cup is held. I mean, baseball's worst enemy is called soccer or international football. It would be nobody showing up at the World Series game, but everybody show up at the FIFA World Cup final, and there's empty seats at all the World Series games. So that's how the worst year for the MLB will be the year 2026, right? But just with basketball does not have this effect. They will have their fans. It's still gonna be number 3. But now let's have the big daddy of them all. What it is for now, the number 1 sports league of North America, even though it's very exciting, football. American football, the NFL, will soon slip into number 2, as it is that for one reason, let's look about the lowest attendance since the Super Bowl history will be Super Bowl 45. It is not due with soccer, it's due to COVID, all right? So just Super Bowl 45, but one is Super Bowl 43. All right? In Super Bowl 43, the attendance, that means that it's showing signs that the NFL is going to be number 2, is that 70,019 people attending the Super Bowl versus 73,000 plus people showing up from the 2018 MLS Cup. This is the league that is going to be number 1 in North America, the MLS. Why? I'm going to tell you this. This is just, it shows signs that sooner or later the Super Bowl will have the lowest attendance in history. And why I'm going to tell you the lowest attendance in history, all right? I mean, football, or American football, for all you folks that I'm going to tell you, that's why, because it's from the USA. You have 4 downs, 10 yards goes to a first down, and probably have to explain the game of football, American football, aka that's what's known. That 50 yards, 100 yards, touchdown, 6 points, a field goal is 1 point after a touchdown. A field goal before making a touchdown is 3 points. And that's how the game of football is played. 11 people versus 11 people, or whatever it is, right? So the big game is the Super Bowl, right? So the signs of back then for the 2018 NFL season, it shows signs that the NFL will be slipping to the number 2 spot. It would be that for the MLS Cup, when Atlanta soccer MLS team won, it had 73,000 fans. The Super Bowl expecting more, but it had less fans, less attendance in that Super Bowl game versus the MLS Cup from 2018, right? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, soccer, I seen it. This is where I could say, okay, this is, nobody likes to say, oh, why baseball is going down, why the audience don't. It's okay. The solution is that when one league and one sport would be very popular in one part of the world, where the rest of the world is, each country have their number 1 sport in the world, but the number 1 sport in the world, most likely in every single other country, soccer or football, international football, known as soccer in US and Canada and some other regions. That means that the World Cup could, this sport is giving baseball a run for its money. It leads to empty ballparks when baseball games is at session. It leads to less audience in other sports versus international football, aka soccer, right? And let me tell you why. Is that the younger audience, knowing about this, this is going to be very, very good. I might say the Colombian national football team or the soccer team is one of them. I watched it. The Japanese played that. Is number 2 in Japan behind baseball. What that means is for now, it's going to be, the soccer, the MLS, when it raised, it will be, at first it'll be like the same thing. It's going to be the number 2 sport in the United States of America, surpassing basketball. It's going to be the same as in Japan. The only difference in Japan is that soccer is behind baseball, and in the United States, soccer is behind football, American football, the NFL, right? NFL is going to be in one of the top spot, but it's not going to be number 1 forever. It's going to be number 2. And let me tell you why it's going to be number 2, right? The younger demographics and whatever it is. But the problem with the MLS right there is that you only have this. I have an Apple device to an Apple TV subscription. An Apple TV subscription. And then why? Why Apple TV? You could have it put in Fox Sports or whatever it is. If one of the big US networks could be NBC, could be ABC, or could be Fox. Well, if it's ABC, MLS games will be shown on ESPN, but also on ABC in weekends. And if it's Fox, FX channels would show a bunch of MLS games, and then on some certain days on the Fox network, that means easier access for MLS games for people who don't own Apple devices to say, I have a Motorola phone, but how could I watch it? Well, I turn on the TV, boom, there it is. Turn on the TV, there's an MLS game out showing on the Fox network, on a Fox channel, right? Or NBC or CBS or one of the other networks. And then, boom, viewers could be growing. The growing viewers. That means if it's on a network TV channel, I bet is going to give the MLB and other leagues a run for its money to go into the number 1 spot in North America if it's given on an Fox. If the MLS will contract with Fox, ABC, NBC, or CBS, right? Those 4 networks. So for that thing, if it's Fox, okay, MLS, you still have shown your games on the Apple TV network, but most likely add Fox in your list. And when you add Fox in your list, more viewers show up, turn on the TV. Even if they don't own an Apple device, they watch an MLS game, and your league, MLS, will surpass the NFL in a few years, right? So, how would be with this, and how could this? All right, to beat Super Bowl 45 in very low attendance, that the Super Bowl, and say that this is one thing so stupid with football, with American football, as to what it is to say, okay, the UFL, XFL versus USFL. This is kind of stupid. The NFL, you cannot top the NFL. It'll be one of the top two leagues. What is going to happen with this? I think the UFL will be folded or will be acquired by the NFL, and the NFL will have 40 teams. It will not be number one with a 40-team roster. How it's going to be is that some teams are from the UFL that NFL acquired, but still, they're not going to light up a candle next to the MLS. And then what was going to happen is this: there's a soccer team held. Could be, a soccer game held, or international football. The growth of international football would lead the NFL going into the number 2 spot, all right? What is going to be is that what happened, the Premier League appears, or something, or even MLS starting on the same day that the NFL season start, and this is going there. What will happen with that is the Super Bowl will have the lowest attendance in history. More to say 900 attendance less compared to a soccer game or the first season of an MLS game being held on the same day of the Super Bowl. And this will show that the MLS will be number 1, the NFL will be number 2. And that's how it's going to be. It's going to be all this, even though you held on to the end of the video. Let me tell you how it goes. And I will tell you this: the top 5 sports leagues in North America, professional sports leagues in North America, number 5 is, let me start from number 5. Number 5 is NHL. NHL is hockey, right? So that would be the NHL. It's gonna be, there's like Penguins might go, or I don't know how it would be. Probably, who knows how it's going to be in all the situation. Yeah, NHL. Number 4, the MLB. Well, put it this way: the MLB will be number 4 for the same reason as all, due to Mid-East politic conflicts within baseball, sports mixed with Mid-East politics. Steroid era renaissance, a great era of baseball with less audience and no people showing up at the ballpark, would be a bunch of names that they're going to be called, and was going to be even the worst year, 2024, this year, and plus 2026. It would be all twists and turns within the commissioner of baseball and everything like that. Then the MLB will be number 4. It will be in the number 4 spot. Everything changes and things like that. It's gonna be it's a bumpy ride for the MLB. a very bumpy ride. It's gonna be like you know what? Guess what's going on right now, right? But that's how the MLB will go slip down to the number 4th spot, and yet to say all this could happen. Number 3, the NBA. Yes, basketball is one popular sport around the world. You're gonna have international players. It's not gonna be the same that have a bunch of crowds when Michael Jordan played in the Chicago Bulls. Now the Michael Jordan of the new era is Lionel Messi. Enter Miami, everybody going to see Lionel Messi as back in the day when people gonna go see the Chicago Bulls and see Michael Jordan, right? That's how what it is. LeBron James is not like Michael Jordan, but hey, NBA number 3. Number 2 is the NFL. Even though football, the American football, will still be one of the top sports in the United States of America, it's still gonna hold strong even if the NFL acquired the UFL. Then I have more teams and whatnot to be like all this. Yet it's gonna be like this. And the number 1 sports league in North America will be Major League Soccer, better known as international football. International football will be the number 1 sport in the United States of America, known as soccer. And what is going to be is all this to be that Leauge, the player from Croatia, right? This famous soccer player. I mean, the MLS will have held an expansion team in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, plus having a team in Vegas, right? So he will be playing in there. Where Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, would be people of Slav descent from Serbia, former Yugoslavia, Serbia, Bosnia, Sarajevo, or Croatia of that descendant. We have him playing, and probably I don't know, go to an MLS game, seeing some of her countrymen playing at an MLS franchise in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's going to be like that. And for whatever reason, the MLS will also help bring out Seattle, an NBA franchise, and all what's going on with the demographics. The younger demographics is going to be like this just in a few years. Not just 10 years, but in less than 5 years or something like that. That the MLS will be the number 1 sport league in North America. NFL will be the number 2 sports league in North America. Well, the Super Bowl, whatever it is, then one day would be nobody is gonna give a rat's ass about the Super Bowl, and everybody else is gonna give a rat's ass about the MLS Cup final. Would be bigger than the Super Bowl. More people show up at an MLS championship game, an MLS Cup final, than at a Super Bowl in a couple of years. And let me tell you why. The thing is about international football, soccer, what is called in North America, is going to be bigger than American football, and people still gonna watch the NFL. NFL is gonna slip into the number 2 spot, even having 40 teams, including having 40 teams. Well, the MLS will have 30 something teams, or even the NFL will not hold a candle in a few years against the MLS. And let me tell you why. Because the MLS will be number 1, NFL will be number 2, NBA will be number 3, MLB will be number 4, and NHL will be number 5. That's truth, and that's how it is. All you baseball fans, you think you're getting butthurt, and let me tell you the truth. Baseball is not gonna be number 1 in America. It's not gonna even be number 2 nor number 3. It's gonna be number 4. Baseball will be the 4th largest sport in America, but you so-called America's pastime would be the pastime in the Orient. And maybe how the demographic changed. Probably Elon Musk goes to Japan and form a new soccer league, and then baseball will be number 2 in America, and baseball will be number 2 in Japan, and soccer will be number 1 in Japan. And that's how it goes with the demographics. And I could tell you what, please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. See you in the next video. I know if you've been long of watching all this, I tell you the truth. The truth is that the MLS will be the number 1 league in North America, and the NFL will be the number 2 league in North America. Why the NFL is going to be in the number 2 sports league in North America? Because American football still be held strong in the United States of America, and soccer or international football will surpass American football in the United States of America. MLS will be number 1, NFL will be number 2. That's the truth. Yes, I even watch soccer games, but yes, what it is, and this is the reason why. Don't get pissed off because, you're not watching a baseball game, you prefer watching a soccer game. Well, let me tell you the truth. Some of you will be mad that why they're tuning in, why they're going to have less people at baseball games and more people at soccer games. It's because the MLB will slip into the number 4 spot, and you going to realize why soccer or international football is the number 1 sport in the world, including in the USA. It's going to surpass the NFL. The MLS Final Cup is going to be bigger than the Super Bowl. Let's get it, my friends. Truth said, case closed. See you in the next channel. Please hit the bell button, subscribe to my channel, and goodbye, everybody. Enjoy your sports. Even if the NFL slips into the number 2 spot, or the MLB slips into the number 4th spot. Are you baseball fans out there? Think about it before you decide. Okay, let's save baseball. Let's illegalize international football. Let's illegalize soccer in the United States of America to save baseball. That's your idea. Try it. Goodbye, everybody.